Hi, this is Matt with Vespa Portland. I'm going to talk about one of the bikes that I have in my stable of vintage Vespas. This is a 1963 Vespa GL. This design was made from 1962 to 65. It was kind of a transitional bike from the earlier like VBB and GS series to the Sprint and Rally design, whereas the early ones had much more bulbous cowls. Later ones, sharper lines. The GL specifically had a much smoother line along the cowls. These cowls are specific for these bikes, although this bike is not so much of a GL on the inside anymore. It has a later 70s P200 engine that has about twice the horsepower that the original GL engine had. I had been wanting a GL for a long time, mostly because of the distinct bodywork that is on it. And I wanted one that had a P200 engine in it just because I wanted something that had more power to it. And just so happened that a friend of mine was talking about how he has a GL with a P200 engine. Yeah, he was looking to sell, so I had no choice really other than to get that. The engine actually was a race engine by P-Town Scooters used on the track some years ago when there was a bigger scooter racing scene, which is a real thing, mostly on kart tracks, but there were some bikes putting out a lot of power. But this engine, been through a lot, built up pretty well, and in the classic package of this bike design, and it is smooth. It is, there's so much I enjoy about riding this bike. It gets looks, it has such a good feel to it, and it has a lot of power, and this thing easily get up to 70, cruising out wherever I want to go. Just keeps going and is just so much fun. I got this from a local scooterist. Actually, I guess it's been in the Portland scooter scene since the early 2000s. Been through a few different hands. I don't plan to get rid of it ever, so I don't think it's going to go anywhere after that. But it's a bike that has made its rounds around some of the vintage crowd. Okay, so this one has the accessory spare tire holder. So a lot of the older bikes, you could carry an entire spare wheel tire mounted. Got the SIP bag that mounts in there, much like the SIP glove box bag that we sell here. This is one that goes right into the tire area, but this wheel just mounts up on a bar there. If I get a flat tire somewhere, just, takes about 10 minutes to swap it out. That's one of the fun things about the vintage is, easy to have extra parts because probably going to need them, to be honest. So in the time I've had this, I've done a few pretty decently sized rides out to Forest Grove and around the areas, some long stretches, and it just cruises. And actually, there's been times that I didn't have enough road. I wasn't able to get fast enough to keep it into fourth because this thing was going so fast in third that fourth is just like kind of an overdrive at that point. One of my favorite bikes I've ever owned. One of the reasons I'll never get rid of it. I have four at the moment. One is a project, one is, or two are projects at this point. I don't know, it's hard to say if it's a favorite, but it's definitely something that as soon as I got it, I knew that this is something I had been wanting for so long that I didn't let anything get in the way of getting it. Even when I had a few issues with it, I was like, this thing is worth it. These old Florida bars, as they are called, old cow guards, could be cleaned up a little bit, but there's just, and I need to fix the back of this, and it needs to be a little bit of welding done to some of this. This is a frame from 1963. There's been a few parts of it that could be fixed up, but that's something that's down the line when I want to, take maybe winter time to work on it and kind of take some stuff off and fix it up a bit. But other than that, I can ride this all day and not really worry about it. Thanks for checking this out. This is Matt at Vespa Portland. Hope to show some of my other bikes in the stable at some point down the line. Got a few of them, just got to get them all ready and presentable.